When I play Skyrim, I like to experiment with all kinds of weird things that the engine allows. On the Havoc physics engine, which handles the physics and lets you mess around with it a bit. It's not some mega advanced thing, but you can build a wall out of cheese. Obviously, you can slap a cauldron on an NPC's head and they can't quite see anything. So they have some kind line of sight. There's a whole model of, let's call it artificial intelligence, that determines what they can do. So maybe they will notice my cheese wall. Bethesda had this AI system called Radiant AI, going back to Oblivion in 2006. It was ambitious for the time. Check out these words from Todd Howard. What are some actual in-game instances of this powerful Radiant AI in action? I have a great one from just the other day when I was testing a quest in a city. I was pushing an NPC for information, and when he wouldn't cough it up, I attacked him, and he quickly ran out of the building we were in. This was not expected behavior for this quest, as he was supposed to stay and fight. So I pulled up some debug information to see what he was doing, and he had left the building, went down the street, bought a dagger, and ran back to fight me. It turns out another designer had recently finished the weapon store next door, and the guy I was fighting decided to use it. Hilarious. That would be epic, but who's ever actually seen that work? The guy has a cauldron on his head and can't figure out how to take it off. Not that he even realizes the fact that he is absolutely blinded. I decided to see how big of a cheese tower I could build. Honestly, is it a big cheese tower? I wouldn't say so. You can definitely build a bigger one. I think the main problem I had building this cheese tower is that it's hard to get higher up. Your character has limited height. You need some kind of steps, a ladder maybe, like these rolling ladders they have in shops. That would be useful. Cheeses though, they hold together really well, because when you pick up the cheese and hold it in air for a moment, it rotates itself to be leveled. It spins itself flat. So it's really good for building. Clearly, cheese was designed for construction purposes.
Trouble?
Then I grabbed a beacon, or maybe a little bit more than one. I wanted to see how many I could fit in a bucket, so I swiped a cauldron from the market and I started packing beacons in it. I thought maybe a few, a dozen would fit. Turns out their model is way bigger than their physical hitbox, so I was packing and packing and packing. A crazy amount fit in there. And at some point I clicked on the cauldron, stole it, and well, not many more would have fit. Then I grabbed a smaller bucket. Thought fewer would fit, but again a whole bunch of stones fit in there. Eventually they started bleaching, sort of bubbling even. Unfortunately, I couldn't pick up the bucket. You can't carry objects like that. Shame, that would have been cool.
Tired of bread and stew? Had enough of fish and fowl? Treat yourself and your kin to a choice cut of steak or a tender rack of ribs.
So let's be honest. These aren't genius level smart NPCs. The system creates the feeling of a living world as long as if you're willing to forget everything you know about society. In Skyrim, they improved it. As Bruce Nesmith, lead designer behind Skyrim, put it. Because it was smoother in Skyrim, more prevalent in Skyrim, but because it was more natural and organic, it didn't stand out. You didn't see it as much, but it is there in ways you didn't even think about. NPCs AI in Oblivion is something completely different.
How are you?
Been better. How about you?
Not bad.
Good to hear. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And why did this dude fly up? At least he said goodbye. And there are things easy to overlook. I read somewhere once that if you kill an NPC in a shop, they will have a successor. So I went to check that out. I took out the blacksmith here, He's no longer with us, I'm sorry, bro. That's just for the experiment. Nothing personal. His wife took over the business. But she was kind of running it already before he got sleepy. And from what I saw, when he was there working, she would also be doing stuff in the meantime. Well, maybe afterwards she was doing more. And getting rid of her, that's a certain kind of problem. There was nobody else to sell in her place. When I got rid of the blacksmith in that first test, I got jumped later by some hired thugs. Probably hired by the wife, in a game released in 2011. What does the future hold? Skyrim 2, aka Skyrim 6, aka Elder Scrolls 6, will also be built on the same engine, just newer. I'm really interested in how the NPCs will behave there. Would be great if they were given incredible amount of agency. Where, for example, if you stole one's bow, they could hire some detective mage, and then that mage would chase your thievery ass down. But before we have that Skyrim 2, we throw balls in the good old Skyrim. Since NPCs don't feel pain, and they don't really resist whatever you're doing, they are not particularly reactive. I grabbed a ball and just started throwing it. Took me a few tries, like 100 or maybe 200, I don't know. Something like 20 or 30 minutes of throwing. Yeah, I got it! I don't know if someone out there is better at this, faster. I'm not sure how many people attempted this, but I'm sure somebody already did. And again, it seems like the developers planned this. Because when you grab the ball, it's positioned just right to do the trick shot. I don't know if they planned it that way, but if they did, big respect. The AI isn't incredible, but the world has rules, and objects follow physics, and NPCs check their surroundings. Line of sight matters, supposedly. But also, that same line of sight didn't stop an NPC from walking straight into my cheese wall and destroying it. I hope they fix it in the next Elder Scrolls.
What are you doing that for?
I'm waiting.